QuickBooks Pro Desktop 2021. Loan Manager Setup QuickBooks file so we can practice with the Loan Manager. Let's get into it with Intuit's QuickBooks Pro Desktop 2021. Here we are on the desktop. We have our QuickBooks program here. We're going to open up the QuickBooks program, set up a new QuickBooks file that we can practice our Loan Manager within. Note that if you're working in a company file, then you might want to make sure that you can locate that company file so that when you set up the new file, you know where the company file is at. We'll show you how to do that as we go through the process. Also note that as we make a new company file, QuickBooks will typically put it somewhere on the computer. We will then go find it and locate it right here in our folder so we know what the QuickBooks file looks like. So let's open that up. QuickBooks will typically open to the last company file that we were using. In this case, this is the last company file that we were using. We can then close this company file, which will take us to the intro page for QuickBooks, and then set up our new company. You can set up a new company directly from here by going to the File tab and saying New Company, which will then close this company and open the new company at the same time. But I want to close this out so we can locate where the current company file is, in case you need to do that. So when we close out just the company file and then close company, we're not closing the program, but just the company. Then the prior file that we were in will be right here. And if you don't know where it is on your desktop, then you can hover over it. It'll give you the mapping. I recommend taking a screenshot of that mapping because it disappears after a while. And then locating the file just to make sure you have it there. Note that as we set up a new company file, this file should still be in the quick search kind of window. So you can just go through it into it from here. However, if something happens or you have to reinstall the software or something, this intro screen could go away and you want to know exactly where the thing is mapped to. So now we're going to set up a new file, which I can do here, or I can go up in the File tab. I'm going to go File tab because that's always there. That's what I like to do because the file dropdown is always there. So then I'll set up New Company File, and then we're going to add a new company. I'm going to say that we want it for someone else because I don't want it to pull in my credentials from Intuit's. And then we're going to put in our information. I'm going to call this the Loan Manager Practice File. And then the industry, we could just choose an industry. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to say service-based industry. Here's our information on the right-hand side. We're just going to set up a couple loans here. So that should work. So I'm going to say OK. And then we need the business type. Again, doesn't really matter. It's pretty much the same for any industry with what we will be working with. So I'm just going to choose the sole proprietorship. All items down below are not required for our purposes as we kind of populate the loan manager information. So I don't need anything down below. I just need the email address because that has an asterisk by it, which means it's a required field. So I'm going to put the email address here and then continue. So now it says we're all set. We're not going to add any items down below. So I'm going to be closing this out. We're going to close this out. We don't need the new features tour here. And then I'm going to maximize this screen. Typically, whenever I go into the QuickBooks file, I'll go to the View tab and open the Open Windows. Now, what we're going to do is work with the Loan Manager. There's two components to the Loan Manager. One, you got to put the loan basically on the books. So we'll actually do some transactions to put the loan on the books. And then we'll set up the Loan Manager to track the amortization table and the payments related to it. Loan Manager can be found under the banking dropdown and the Loan Manager items here. Obviously, we have nothing set up yet in the Loan Manager window, and we have no loans set up. So we'll do those two things, and we'll start to do those things in future presentations. For now, I want to exit this file, and I want to locate where QuickBooks put it, because once again, QuickBooks didn't tell me where to put it. It just saved it somewhere, possibly where the last file was that I was working on is where they typically have been putting it lately. But it'd be nice if they asked. So I'm going to go to the File dropdown, and I'm going to say Close Company. Just like we did when we started this process. That'll take me to the intro window. This means QuickBooks will now be open, but no company file is open, and therefore that allows me to cut and paste or move the company file from whatever location it is at to where I want it. So this file, they put this in this location. I'm going to go find it now, and I'm going to put it where we want it. So I'm going to go locate it now, and then I'm going to put it right there in the folder so we can see it side by side. So here we are on the desktop. Here's the program. Here's the file that I've opened, and I've now placed the QBW file right here so we can see it side by side. So when we open the file, typically people will open up the program, which will then open up the last data file that they had, or they can choose the data file to open. This then will be the data file that we will open within it. However, like a Word document, you can double click on the QBW file in a similar way as you can click on a Word file, which would open up then the Microsoft Word program, the file within it. Here you can click on the QBW data file, which would then open up the program and the file within it as well. So this is the one we will be working with. Remember, it's a QBW file. Over here, this is the data file. This is the program that will be opening the data file.